Track driver's going to speed it up.
All right, checkered coming out on group number 1 of the IMCA RaceSaver Sprint. All right, Group 2 wrapping up. 67 of Ken Duke Jr. to Winfield, Pennsylvania. Tops on the boarding.
Car slow in the back stretch, blowing up, guys.
All right, checkered out on group number 1 of our late model Sportsman warm-ups here this evening. Cody Braden looking very sharp out there in that 14 machine. Once again, semi-late drivers for your time trials. You can make your way to the staging area. Semi-late drivers for your time trials to the staging area, please. Checkered is out, and as always, a 151 Kyle Lear very strong in warm-ups here tonight. The two-time winner tops on the board. Race fans, as we give the semi-lates a few moments to make their way down to the staging area and get prepared for their warm-ups, or I should say their qualifying here tonight, if you could please rise as you are able, as we will deliver tonight's invocation to be followed by our national anthem. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this beautiful day. For some of us, we're worn and weary as we've been working all weekend at racetracks, but you know what? There's no place we'd rather be but to enjoy the sport of auto racing. It's such a beautiful evening here at the Hagerstown Speedway. We thank you for allowing us all to be together as friends and family to enjoy some great racing. Tonight, Father, we ask you, please keep our drivers and our pit crew members safe as they perform their jobs on the racetrack and out in the pit area. Please keep our officials safe as they perform the jobs they do all around this facility and help them to make wise decisions. We thank you so very much for our military who help us here and protect us in our own country and throughout the world and give us the opportunity to enjoy the freedoms that we have, one of which is what we are doing this very evening, and that is enjoying each other as friends and family at our local racetrack. We thank you so much for allowing us to be part of another wonderful Easter weekend, and if it weren't for you, this wouldn't be possible. We thank you for everything, Lord, and all this we pray in your precious name. Amen. IMCA RaceSaver Springs in RaceSaver.
Driver's got a green flag going. Rick Potter, leading us to green.
Cars spun out and entrance to pit road drivers, beware.
All right, right now qualifying underway. The 1 of Steve Kent up top on the board. 15 of Rick Potter currently in second. The 81 of Geesem in third. 65 of Dylan Wilson in the number 4 spot. And the top 5 made up by the 3D of Shane McQuay. Problems hit the 78 of Evan Faust moments ago. He spun off a turn number 4. Has since gone into the infield area, so he's got a little work to do. But again, we have the invert, so we'll see what happens for that driver a little bit later on. White flag in the air that time by Kent out of Woodsboro, Maryland. Brings the 1C off at turn number 4 and back to the stripe. Checkered flag is out for the moment. 21.822 seconds will be his best lap time, which has him in the number 1 position. 15 of Rick Potter. He will be second as we're wrapping things up. The 81 of Jason Gieseman looks like he's going to be third. 65 of Dylan Wilson, and the 3 being driven by Shane McQuay. They will be the top 5 drivers in our semi-late times this evening. All right, field set to take the green flag off turn 4. The IMCA RaceSaver Sprints. We are underway. Their first event here at the Hagerstown Speedway. Race number 1 for the Virginia Sprint Series. Again, Natural Bridge rained out a week ago, so this will become their first event of the year. Gerald Harris, the defending champion of that series, grabbing the early lead. The one-time winner in 2024. Working that cushion off of turn number 4 and back to the stripe. The first of 8 circuits. 461 of Colton Hendershot in second spot. Darren Bullock in the 44. Right now in third, but as quickly as we say that, 26 of Ryan Lynn. Here he goes to the inside. Grabs that third position. 61 of John Scarborough, the defending Laurel Highlands champion, now up into the number 5 position. And spinner in turn number 3 and 4. Caution may be coming out here early after 2 laps complete. Best dirt late model drivers and some of the best
Drivers, green flag next time around, single file. Do not pass until you get past the cove.
Semi-late drivers will be a part of the program next weekend. That will be their second points race of the season, and that is part of a triple header weekend, starting off at the Georgetown Speedway in Delaware on Friday night, Hagerstown on Saturday, and wrap it up at Port Royal on Sunday. In the meantime, 2 laps in the books of the 8 that will make up qualifier number 1. Time to go as Gerald Harris heads him down into 1 and 2. Hendershot right behind him. And here comes a 26 of Ryan Lynn. Made a great pass on Modoc a few moments ago as he works it down the back straightaway. Now Hendershot really moves into the inside of Gerald Harris. Great battle side by side as they come back to the stripe. It'll be Hendershot, the Clear Spring, Maryland driver, just 8 miles up the road, that grabs that lead. Harris into second, Lynn third. Bullock back and forth, and the 61 of Scarborough. They'll be the top 5 as the field works back for halfway here in race number 1. Well, once in front, Hendershot is really hooked up. That 461. Remnants of the old Walt Dyer machine that many top Central PA drivers ran. Billy Steve, one of those, as they work it back to the stripe. Keeping that color and that scheme alive, and right now putting that car right out front. Harris in the J9 remains in second spot comfortably. Lynn in third, Scarborough fourth, and the 44 Bullock. He started in second, now has dropped himself back into the number 5 slot. 2 to go this time. One more challenge in the top 5 could be coming. Scarborough closing the gap on the 26 of Ryan Lynn. And right now, right up to that rear wheel, makes a little nudge, and Scarborough looks to the inside. He'll grab third here on the white flag lap. In the meantime, almost a full turn advantage for Hendershot as he works it down the back straightaway. Harris in second. And boy, is Scarborough on the move. That car is hooked up late, but it's going to be Hendershot taking the victory in qualifier number 1. Harris will hold on for second. Scarborough was coming. He'll wind up third. Ryan Lynn in fourth. And the 44 of Darren Bullock rounds out the top 5.
Stay high in 4. Stay high in 4, drivers.
All right, pace car headed off in the back pit area. We get set to do battle 8 laps again. The distance, Colby Weaver in that 5W. Ken Duke Jr. in the 67. 31 of Donnie Hendershot. Colton picked up the victory in heat race number 1. Let's see what the other Hendershots got as we get set to go off at turn number 4. Weaver, in trouble. One car slamming the wall and upside down.
Red flag, drivers, red flag.
And red flag out on the speedway rather quickly. Big shot taken by the one driver being 10-2 down bottom. He got up into the outside wall, made hard contact, and that just rolled that machine over. Able to end up on his 4 wheels as both drivers that are being 10-2. It looks like everybody, as we get the medical units out there, they're waving them over. We'll give you an update as soon as it's made available to us. Driver is okay. Driver is okay. All right, field stacked back up, ready to do battle off the back straightaway. Once again, Colby Weaver and Ken Duke Jr. will lead us back to the green. 31 of Donnie Hendershot. We'll be on the inside of the 71 of Dylan Schatzer. He's on that outside of row number 3 as we go back to green and the restart here in qualifier number 2. And this time, Ken Duke Jr. gets the better of Weaver. He'll grab that number 1 spot off turn number 2. Weaver will be back in the number 2 position down the back straightaway as our leaders head back into 3 and 4 for the first time. And a good lead early by Duke in the first lap and a half. Weaver in second spot. Here comes Schatzer to the inside, trying to get to the inside advantage of Reed Thompson. Good side-by-side battle for the number 3 position. No contact possibly, and Thompson goes around and doesn't quite able to keep it going. Looked like he was able to keep going in a moment, but just couldn't, and he stops right dead in the middle of turn number 4. All right, green flag back out. Top 4 drivers peel away quickly, led by Ken Duke Jr. Weaver in that 5 machine in second spot. Schatzer in the 71, followed by the 31 of Hendershot. And the 20, top 5, made up by Chris Humblett. Started back at that number 7 spot. Hendershot, he's been taking peeks on Schatzer. Can't quite find the groove he wants through those corners. Stays within striking distance as the leaders come back halfway. Will go on the board this time by for Ken Duke Jr. Thompson's R6. He's trying to dig himself back out of a hole. Right now gets around the 6 of Caleb Harris as the F1 of French Grimes off the pace down the back straightaway. Leaders coming back, 5 of our 8 in the book. And spinner in turn number 4. Looks like it's going to be the 20 of Chris Humblin as he'll loop it down low. A couple of drivers making evasive maneuvers to avoid contact, and caution back out here on lap number 5. He's back up in the top 5. First of 2 late model Sportsman heat events staged and ready to go. 8 laps will be the distance for those drivers coming up, and their 2 qualifiers coming up in just a few moments. Duke will work them down in turn 3 and 4. 3 laps to go here in our second qualifier. Duke will take him down into 1 and 2, and looks like Thompson trying to stay in his tracks. Good bite for Schatzer off turn 2. Thompson likewise to the inside of Hendershot. And right now they'll begin their side-by-side battle for the number 4 position. 2 laps to go for Ken Duke Jr. this time. Thompson around Hendershot on the front straightaway. That'll put him up into 4th. And not far behind them is the 6 of Caleb Harris running in that 6th position. He's watching a good battle, the best of the top 5 right now, as Thompson fends off Hendershot. In the meantime, white flag in the air for Ken Duke Jr. Working off a turn number 1 and 2. He'll go around the slower machine of French Grimes down the back straightaway with a very healthy advantage. Colby Weaver right now in 2nd. Schatzer 3 car lengths back in 3rd. Checkered in the air. 2nd and final qualifier to Ken Duke Jr. in the 67. Pole sitter Weaver comes home in 2nd. Hagerstown product Schatzer winds up 3rd. Thompson from the back up into 4th. And the top 5 made up by the 31 of Donnie Hendershot. 12 of Bobby Beard, first appearance of the season. Bobby, a well-known winner in the Beard family for many years at Lincoln Speedway in Hanover, Pennsylvania. Bobby also doing late model sportsman racing for many years at the Babs Motor Speedway up in Newberrytown, Pennsylvania. Good to see Bobby back on hand of that 12 machine. He'll elect to start at the back end of the field in his first appearance at Hagerstown this year, and we get set to go for our first of 2 heat races in late model sportsman action. And quickly, going to be Mason Booz making it a 3-wide battle going into turn number 1. Goes down hard and deep, but he'll drift up the banking. Opens the door for Ziegler, but not quite able to make the move. Ziegler in a 2nd. Myers of that 70J, he's on the move to the outside. The Greencastle, Pennsylvania driver way up the track in 3rd and down to the bottom side. Here comes another one. That's going to be Cable. Spinner, meanwhile, in turn 4. Going to be the 0. Mike Steck spinning out down in turn 4. All right, field reset with 1 lap complete of 8. It'll be Mason Booz on the inside as we get set to get back to green. Ray Cable, that 25K, to win some limited late model racing last night down at Potomac in the Danny Garrett Memorial, but picking up the modified win at Potomac likewise. That's a couple of victories for him this year, as he also scored the win at Path Valley Speedway just a weekend ago. And now trying to see if he can pick up a late model sportsman heat race win. He and Booz lead us back to the stripe. Green back out, going to be Booz down to the bottom side. Going to try to see if he can make it stick. He's having a hard time doing that. It's Cable with a good run as he'll go down to the inside. Drag races on. Booz will have the edge on the outside in turn 3 and 4. DJ Myers lurking in the shadows, and Spinner. Several cars getting together, and it began with the 27 of Lee Ziegler. He got out of shape. The 151 of Kyle Lear, nowhere to go. He also made contact. So 3 drivers involved high in turn number 4 brings out our latest caution with 2 laps complete here this evening. Well, not a good weekend if your name is Kyle Lear. Unfortunately, the driver ran the 149 last night. Lear pulls it into the pit area. He has had some heavy right side damage on that car. But had a rough night down at Potomac in his heat race. Found himself digging out of a hole that just was hard to get out of. So not a good weekend after having a 2nd and a victory at Hagerstown in Bedford last Sunday. Meanwhile, green is back out, 2 in the books as Ray Cable continues to dig down low. Mason Booz has got that high line working, and right now Wesley Bonebrake able to get around DJ Myers. 24K of Jeff King, the Pasadena, Maryland driver. He's on the outside of Myers in the battle for the number 4 position as they come back for lap number 3. Myers trying to regain what he lost moments ago, and he is right down to the guardrail in turn number 1 and 2, trying to dig hard underneath the bone brake. Just won't give him any breathing room. and Bonebrake holds on to third. Going to be Booze by about 2 car lengths over Cable as they work it back for halfway. 4 in the books and 4 to go. Mason Booze, one of our regulars in crate late model action in the Booze Brothers Performance Deal. They are off this weekend here at Hagerstown, bumping up into the late model Sportsman class. Brian Booze will be in race number 2, and right now Mason showing the way as he comes back for lap number 5. Cable in second, but Bonebrake is gaining more momentum as this race wears on. Carr is really hooking up more and more. He's only a couple of car lengths back in third. Jeff King has wrestled that number 4 spot away from DJ Myers. Bobby Beard back in 6th position, followed by Cronies, and then the Zero Machine of Mike Steck as they come back for 2 laps to go. Top 3 begin to tighten up just a little bit. They're not letting Booze away. Few car length separation for the top 2. Another 4 or 5 back to Bonebrake with the white flag coming out this time. Final lap for Mason Booze. He runs that midsection at turn number 1 and 2. Cable started low and up a little bit high, and that gives Booze a little bit more breathing room by about 5 or 6 car lengths in 3 and 4. Checkered out in the first late model Sportsman qualifier. Mason Booze coming away with the victory. Ray Cable, Wesley Bonebrake, Jeff King, and DJ Myers. They will be your top 5. Redraw coming up after our second late model Sportsman qualifier tonight. Andy Atherton and Cody Kirshner will lead us for the final 8 laps of qualifying here at Hagerstown. All right, green is out in our final qualifier tonight. Going to be Atherton down bottom. 2+2 of Kirshner. Wiggles a little bit, opening the door for Cody Breeden down bottom, and they'll be side by side for that number 2 spot. Kirshner trying to forge back ahead, but Breeden really sticks it in there down to the bottom side. Little contact, but good racing as Breeden gains the number 2 position. Kirshner still trying to fight hard on the outside, but Breeden's got that preferred line down bottom off at turn number 2. A good launch, and he'll open up a few car lengths advantage in second. 94 of Brandon Bard up into third. Going to be the 11W of Warren Feltz. Right now he's to the inside. Naylor almost spun it out, but he holds on up in the high groove in the marbles. But that will bring Mason Booze and Daniel Garrett right up to his rear deck lid. Warren Feltz, meanwhile, moving to the inside of Bard. He'll move up into 4th position here at lap number 2. And all the while up front, it continues to be the 19 of Danny Atherton. Bard trying to fight back to the inside of Warren Feltz and reclaim that number 4 spot he lost moments ago. Almost out of shape himself as Naylor had to get on the binders to avoid contact. Those 2 are single file down the back straightaway, and we go halfway. So 4 in the books, 4 to go as Danny Atherton in control of the 19 machine down the back straightaway, some 6-7 car lengths over Cody Breeden. Good distance back, a quarter of a straightaway over the 2+2 of Cody Kirshner. Warren Feltz, Bard, they're the top 5 as they come back for the 5th circuit. Two to go that time by 81 and Daniel Garrett, not quite all the way around as he made contact with the B or the 2 of Mason Booze. And by virtue of that, Booze has headed off into the pits, and Garrett sitting down in turn number 4. And they're going to come back to the Jesse James Auto Mart start-finish line in a few moments. Danny Atherton, the 19, still the leader. Cody Breeden, couple of shots left to go on laps. Cody Kirshner and Austin Warren Feltz. Top 4, 2 laps to go. Atherton and Braden leaning on each other pretty good as they work off of turn number 2, and Atherton gets that good low side momentum. Digs and gets himself back in front of that 14 machine as they work it back into 3 and 4. And Braden is trying to dig down bottom as well. White flag in the air. Kirshner running third. Warrenfelds, Brandon Bard, they're the top 5. Single file as they work it back into the 1-2 turn. 000, Matt Naylor back in 6. Bard will make one last-ditch effort to move up one more notch in the order to the inside of Warrenfelds. They'll stay even back in turn 3 and 4. Meanwhile, up front is Warrenfelds loops it high in turn number 4. Danny Atherton taking the victory. 14, Cody Braden coming home in second. 2+2, Cody Kirshner. 94, Brandon Bard. The 000, Matt Naylor will round out your top 5. All right, down trackside as we get set for the redraw for the late model Sportsmans and Simulates. I believe we got some of our sprint car drivers out here. I believe some of those are going to have to do a draw. We're getting their names right off the bat as Josh takes care of that. Brian, you're driving me nuts with them 2 cars. Man, Mason was doing a great job in that first heat race. That's all I did, call Mason. Hey, cars looks good. Car looks good tonight. What do you think of track conditions? I know it's been a cloudy day, it was windy, but I know it took a while for them to dial the track in a little bit later than normal, but it looks like some good racing from our vantage point out there.
So far, I think the track's pretty good. We're still a little sloppy on the bottom, so if guys get down there, they're putting some actually moisture right on the track. It makes it a little slick. It's still bottom dominant at the moment because it's blowing crumbs up into the upper groove, but hopefully that'll clean up. Maybe the sprint car guys will clean that up a little bit and we'll have a nice wide surface.
And you made a good point because you guys are actually running third tonight. Simulates get theirs done, then the sprint car drivers will be out there. So there could be a lot of things changing, but you're saying it could be to your benefit, maybe.
I think it'll prove for some better racing.
Hey, by the way, it's the first time I've had a chance to talk to you. I know those guys aren't here tonight, but on behalf of Hagerstown Speedway, thanks to Booz Brothers Performance, has sponsored the crate late models this year, too.
No problem. I really like the crate class. I want to see it keep growing, and I think it's a good entry-level deal.
You realize last weekend when they were here, there were 4 different states represented in the top 5 spots. That was pretty cool.
Very good. That's what we're struggling with a little bit is the tire situation, to not exclude anybody and not make anybody have to spend a bunch of money to come and race. So far, it seems to be working out. I think the parity's there. It's just track conditions is what's going to prove out on that deal.
Absolutely. Well, Brian. Hey, Doug. Come on. Come on. There he is. Oh. Of course, we're. No. Oh. Are you kidding? What? Up right now. It's in and out. It's in and out. Do I have to stand like this? Okay. Do we have Mr. Giesemann coming out? Is he the one that's going to roll the dice? Okay. Hey, I can't move. I'm glued here. I've got to stand right here like this. Hey, dude, congratulations to Williams Grove on that street stock win. Tell me about that.
Yeah, it was fast, man. The car really worked good.
Oh. Lost it again. All right, go ahead and draw. Throw that dice. Jason Giesemann. All right, let's see what he gets. Oh, number 6 for Jason Giesemann. All right, good luck tonight. He's a one-time winner so far this year. All right, now I got to stand still again. I'm afraid to, Jim. Works again. Okay. All right, so how many right now? Bring it in. 10. All right. Come on. Shot. Come on. Shot. Come on. Colton. Come on. Colton Drew. 8. All right. Colton Drew 8. Colton Anderson. 461 Drew 8. Chick. It was 8 race win. Okay. No. Jerry. Not like this. See, when I say something I don't want to say, that's when the PA picks it up. Everybody can hear me. Jerry. Boy, we're going up. Gerald Hip, Virginia Sprint Series champ. Colby Weep. Colby. One. Colby Weaver got one. Vermont. 7. Dylan got 3. All right, Ryan Lane got number 6. Reed Thompson. Number 4. Reed Thompson, number 4. All right, Darren Bullock. Number 5 for Darren Bullock. Donnie Henderson. Number 2 for Donnie Henderson. What's McMaryland said? And he told me.
Finishes in that position is going to get a free right rear RaceSaver tire from Hoosier.
I'm not going to move the microphone.
I got it.
You have better luck than I do.
All right, whoever finishes 11th,
They'll get a Hoosier
they
tire.
get a free right rear tire.
Okay.
Can't beat that.
All right. Thank you. All right, our guys are set to do battle tonight. Feature event coming up for semi-late.
Sellers and then the 1C of Steve Kent back in the 3rd row.
All right, drivers, green flag this time, 65, you start the race.
You are 15 laps, our distance tonight in semi-late action. First of 3 features tonight here at Hagerstown as we get set for the first points race for semi-lates for 2025. It'll be Wilson grabbing that lead off of turn number 2. McQuay finding some takers behind him. Steve Kent, Jason Giesemann. They'll be side by side for 3rd. McQuay for the moment holding on to that number 2 position. He'll go up high a little bit, open the door down bottom, but still have enough of a gap to hold on to 2nd. Side by side, again, Kent and Giesemann, the one-time feature winner as they work their way off into 1 and 2. Giesemann to the outside. He'll grab the number 3 position. Kent will be 4th, and Sellers of the number 10, the top 5. Well, once Giesemann got that spot, Kent didn't let him out of his sights. He goes right back to the inside to see if he can snare the number 3 spot back away, and will. McQuay in that 3D. He has got a bumper full of Steve Kent down the backstretch. Wilson holds on to a 2-car length advantage as they come back for lap number 3 of 15. Two winners so far this year, and nobody in those front 3 spots has claimed a victory. Right now, Giesemann, the 81, the only winner so far this year in a non-points race. Alan Brannon took the opener, which was also non-points, as Wilson to the 65, working his way back to the stripe, rebounding after a vicious wreck and a lot of damage to that front end a few weeks ago. Put everything back together, and it's cooking right now. He's got a good 5-car length advantage over Kent down the backstretch. McQuay holding on to third. He's got Giesemann on the rear bumper, and Ford Sellers at the number 10 in fifth as we hit the 1/3 mark of tonight's Simulate main event. 5 in the books. Well, McQuay washes up off of turn 2. That'll open the door for Giesemann. He's got some work to do now to catch up to those front 2 machines. Kent has been closing the gap on Wilson a little bit more as they come back for lap number 6. 2-car length separation for the top 2 drivers. Then Giesemann followed by McQuay. And a good straightaway back to the number 10 of Sellers, followed by the 78 of Evan Faust, and then the 25 of Jeremy Mills. Challenge for the lead down the back straightaway. Kent to the inside. Good hard racing side by side. Kent to the bottom. Wilson up top. And they'll remain dead even as they come back to the stripe with the edge to Kent here on lap number 7. Wilson still trying to keep it down, but can't quite do it. The door is open. Kent takes it. He'll grab that and then work around the lap car of Jeremy Mills. Opens up a car length and a half advantage back in turn 3. And here comes Wilson right back to the rear bumper in turn 3 and 4. Now once in front, Kent looking to be the 3rd different winner in Simulate action this year, opening up a good advantage down into turn 3 and 4. It is still Wilson 2nd, Giesemann 3rd. He's got a good gap over the 3D of McQuay, with the 10 of Sellers still rounding out the top 5 here at lap number 9. Five to go that time by for Steve Kent, continuing to stretch that margin of a lead out. Good quarter of a straightaway over Dylan Wilson. About the same back to the 81 of Giesemann. Another 10 back to McQuay in the 3D machine as they come back for lap number 11. Well, Kent working off a turn 4, 2 laps to go here in tonight's Simulate main event. As he works his way back to that Jesse James Auto Marriage start-finish line, he's got 1 lap to go in tonight's Simulate main event. 65 of Dylan Wilson still comfortably in 2nd. 81 of Giesemann, the one-time winner, and then the 3D of Shane McQuay. As the leader heads down into turn 3 and 4, a couple of machines in front, that being Sellers and Mills, giving him some racing room. He won't need to worry about them as he comes back to collect his first of the year. Steve Kent in the 1C. Coming away with the victory tonight. 65 of Dylan Wilson will be 2nd. The 81 of J.C. Giesemann winds up 3rd. 3D of Shane McQuay will be your top 4.
He got shuffled a little bit, but in the end,
Coming away with his first of the year, give it up for Steve Kent, our feature winner tonight here at Hagerstown Speedway. Steve, I'm say glued to my position because my microphone is just being very, very temperamental tonight. Congratulations on a great win. Car look good. He's got a piece of insurance. Thing working one way or the other. Hey.
Thank you, sir. Good on the dice. We went from first to sixth, but still got it done. I got to thank everybody that came on board this year, from SKS Equipment as the primary. We got F&A Excavating, Frederick Moose Lodge, and then Cook Realtors. So man, we been working with the car and just found something and we got it done.
Yeah, she was cooking tonight. Great job this evening. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Taking the victory. All right, we're set to go. 25 laps for the IMC RaceSaver Sprints. Colby Weaver, that 5W, the 31 of Donnie Hendershot. Two very strong cars up front. 71 of Dylan Schatzer, the R6 of Reed Thompson. Good field of IMC RaceSaver Sprints, our Virginia Sprint Series and Laurel Highlands drivers together. Tonight, the first of 5 appearances for the RaceSaver Sprints. Green is out. Going to be Weaver grabbing the lead. Schatzer trying to make it a 3-wide battle underneath the Hendershot, and he goes after Weaver right away. 71 down to the inside. The Hagerstown product looking to score a victory here tonight as he takes it down low off turn number 4 and grabs a lead here on lap number 1. Going to be Weaver in second, Hendershot in third, Reed Thompson fourth. 3-wide battle back for the number 5 spot. Scarborough down to the bottom side. He tries to snare the lead, the defending Laurel Highlands champion. Working down that back straightaway. Trying to get around the 6 machine of Caleb Harris right now. All the while, going to be shots are rolling down to a pretty good lead of about 10 car lengths here with just 2 laps complete. All right, Colby Weaver running second. Hendershot holding on to third as the leaders head back into 3 and 4. 67 to Ken Duke Jr., not to be forgotten. He was one of the heat race winners as he rounds out the top 4 as the 43 of Chris Ware heads off into the pits here at lap number 3 of tonight's IMC RaceSaver Sprint Main. Battle for second is a good one. Very tight 3-car pack. Further back in 5th, going to be Scarborough getting around Reed Thompson. Gerald Harris also to his outside. He will grab the number 6 position, and then he flakes up the banking just a little bit. So Thompson and Harris in their own private battle further back in the field, and right now that is for the number 6 position. Still a good battle for second. Going to be Weaver holding on to it. Hendershot feeling the pressure from Ken Duke down to the inside. The 67 works his way up into 2nd position. As 2nd, 3rd, and 4th still with a very good battle off turn 4. That's allowing the 61 of Scarborough to close up ranks. Back in 5th. The battle for 6th still a good one. Reed Thompson behind him. He's trying to hold on. Gerald Harris looking to his inside. As further up, Colby Weaver. A turn down now to your leader, Dylan Schatzer. As they work off at turn number 4, Weaver holds his spot. Duke's putting pressure on right and left, high and low. As they work it back into turn number 1 and 2. Dukes is there. He'll go to the inside and try and grab that number 2 position. He'll get it midpoint down the back straightaway. Hendershot now under attack by Scarborough. He's holding on to the number 4 position. Scarborough is there likewise as 7 laps go on the board in tonight's 25-lap main event. Schatzer bringing it back to the stripe. 8 laps of our 25 on the board. Caution, out 1 spinner down in turn 2. That'll be the 44 of Darren Bullock, one of our VSS regulars. All right, field set to get back to green. 8 laps are complete. Let's see if Schatzer can be up for the challenge. He had a turn lead when the caution came out. Tires have cooled down a little bit. Now Ken Duke goes to work in the 67. Going to be the 31 of Donnie Hendershot. Right now he's holding on to 3rd. as he got to the inside of Colby Weaver on the restart. John Scarborough in the 61. They are the top 5 as they come back for lap number 9. Further back, Reed Thompson feeling the pressure from Colton Hendershot. That 461, very impressive heat race win earlier this afternoon. And now trying to dig himself up further into that top 5. He's right now in 6th position as caution on the Speedway. Be the 92 of Eric Paxson bringing out the caution as we saw over in turn number 1 and 2. Remains back there in 5th. Reed Thompson in 6th, Colton Hendershot 7th, Gerald Harris holding on to the number 8 position right now as the 26 of Ryan Lynn is back in 9th. 9 complete here in our sprint car main event. Green is back out, and Weaver goes rim riding, trying to see if he can find something on the high side. Doesn't work as Schatzer and Duke fend him off. They stay 1-2 with Weaver now working top shelf down in turn 3 and 4, trying to make it work. He'll get around Duke and get that second spot. That momentum puts him right up to the rear gas tank of the 71 of Schatzer. Weaver trying to hold on, but goes a little too high that time. Up in the marble, stayed off the wall, but that enabled Duke to get back around him. He lost a ton of momentum as Hendershot and Scarborough closed back up from 4th and 5th. Top 2 drivers make their way back to the strike. 12 laps complete here in our 25-lap main event. Schatzer, 2 car lengths over Ken Duke. Weaver trying to rebound. He'll still stay in that high groove, and now it's costing him. Hendershot underneath of him. He'll get 3rd. Here goes Scarborough up into 4th. And now the J9 of Gerald Harris coming to life. Back in the number 6 position. Colton Hendershot holding on to 7th. It's going to be Flynn back in 8th. Reed Thompson has dropped to the 9th position, and top 10 made up by the 51 of Dave Graber. He's part of a 3-wide battle. He just got swallowed up by 2 drivers, as a 23 of Todd Lynn and the 54 of Matt Mullins put him as the meat in the sandwich and went on around him. Scarborough, meanwhile, still continuing to climb the ladder to the inside of Hendershot, out of shape as he was working down the low side. A little bit of contact made between himself and the 5 of Weaver, and now they all go single file. 4 car lengths make it 5 for Schatzer down the back straightaway as we put halfway on the board in tonight's IMCA RaceSaver sprint car main event. 67 of Ken Duke remains a very close 2nd spot. It's a 2-car race right now at this juncture with the 31 of Donnie Hendershot now in 3rd. Scarborough holding on to 4th. Weaver dropping back to 5th. Gerald Harris in the J9 in 6th position. Scarborough still digging to the bottom side. Good run off turn number 2. Puts the 61 up into the number 3 position. And caution coming out here at lap number 15.
Right, drivers, green flag this time.
Started on the inside of road number 5. He has had a very good run tonight. Donnie Hendershot in the 31. He has had a great battle with the 61 of John Scarborough. Let's see what happens on the restart. 5W Colby Weaver, the pole sitter. He's right there in 5th as we get him started and cranked up on the turn number 4. Green flag back in the air. And again, 2 cars shoot away, and 3rd on back continues to be the good battle. Hendershot trying to negotiate turn number 1 and 2. Scarborough with that good run down bottom. Here he goes, 3 wide for the moment as Weaver and Scarborough put the 31 of Hendershot right in the middle, and going to be Scarborough trying to hold on to 3rd spot as he pushes up the 5W of Weaver. And now the 31 of Hendershot looks like he's got problems. He is fading big time down the front straightaway, losing several positions down in turn number 1 and 2. 16 are complete, and Donnie Hendershot's 31 continuing to fade further back in the field. Leaders coming back for lap number 17. Schatzer still the leader. Duke in 2nd. Scarborough now 3rd. Weaver in 4th. And J9 of Gerald Harris. He'll be in the top 5. 6th position on the track right now. Going to the 26 of Ryan Lynn. Right after that, going to be the 461 of Colton Hendershot as the leaders come back for lap number 18. Weaver again. He tried some rim riding earlier, and it looked like he was going to move him forward. Now he almost hits the wall in turn number 2. That allows the J9 of Gerald Harris underneath and up into 4th position. 19 on the board, and Schatzer begins to open that lead up a little bit more over the 67 of Duke. Now the 61 of Scarborough. Those 3 drivers very comfortable in their positions right now as Weaver and Harris continue to work off turn number 2 in that ongoing battle for the number 4 position. 5 laps to go this time by. Leaders back to the stripe for lap number 21 here in tonight's IMCA RaceSaver Sprint Car main event. Field getting strung out around this half-mile course. 67 of Ken Duke still remaining in 2nd spot. 61 of John Scarborough. He made some great strides to get up where he was. And right now looks like things have stabilized for the defending Laurel Highlands champion. He's running a very steady 3rd. Colby Weaver, the pole sitter, in 4th. And the J9 of Gerald Harris remains the top 5 with 3 laps to go. Schatzer working 1-lap machine off turn number 2. He clears him, and he has got clear sailing for the remaining 2.5 laps of tonight's main event. 2 to go for the 71 Hagerstown product, Dylan Schatzer, as he works it back to the stripe. Leader strung out down that back straightaway. Good distance amongst all of them as the white flag comes out. Schatzer had some good runs last year, only to end in heartbreak tonight. He is 1 lap away from seeing that checkered flag for the Hagerstown, Maryland product as he works a low line of turn number 1 and 2. Ken Duke right in that same groove, but way back by a good 1/8 of a straightaway as they work it back into 3 and 4 for the final time. No lap traffic, and Hagerstown's Dylan Schatzer coming away with the IMCA RaceSaver Sprint Car feature event victory. 67 of Ken Duke coming up in 2nd. 61 of John Scarborough. The 5W of Colby Weaver. And the J3 of Gerald Harris, the top 5. All right, being pushed into victory lane. Nothing sweeter than to be a hometown product and win at your hometown racetrack as Dylan Schatzer parked D&D Auto Recycling. Holsinger's meets at Nelly's number 71 into victory lane tonight. A lot of hugs back there as we're looking through the car. And here he is around. Folks, give it up for Hagerstown, Maryland's Dylan Schatzer, your IMCA RaceSaver Sprint Car winner. Dylan, I don't know if I've had a chance to talk to you. I know last year you had some good runs and had some heartaches here at the Speedway, and I know it's always fun if you win a hometown racetrack. I know it had to be disappointing, but how gratifying is it tonight?
Oh man, tonight's is really special. Getting to run Al, Lynn, and David's 71 machine and getting to park it on the front stretch is pretty special for me and for their family. And us working together has been awesome this past year and into this one. It's our first night together this year, so we started off pretty strong.
You did indeed. You started on the inside of road number 2, but it looked like that car was just launched like a rocket right off the bat. Tell us about your run, because you had a lot of restarts, and you had Ken Duke and a couple of the hungry drivers not far behind you, but it looked like you answered the bell every time.
Well, I knew that hitting the bottom would be by far the most important thing on those restarts. I tried to change where I started on each of them and just made sure I didn't miss the bottom and going into one.
Who would you like to thank for your efforts here tonight?
Oh, I can't thank Al, Lynn, and David Moser enough for giving me the opportunity to drive this 71 car. Thank my dad, Bap, Bernie, the whole Singer family's down with us tonight. We got a big crowd. Just thanks everybody who's here on the front stretch and supports us every week, even when we run bad.
Well, thank you very much for being here. When the Virginia Sprint Series, the Laurel Highlands guys, the IMCA RaceSaver Sprints come, you got put on a good, clean show. We love having you here, and we look forward to seeing you 4 more times.
It sounds great to me. I love going 15 minutes away from home.
Here you go. Saves a little bit of gas money. Dylan Schatzer, your winner tonight in the IMCA RaceSaver Sprints. All right, here we go. 20 laps. The finale tonight for the late model Sportsman drivers at 25K. Ray Cable out of Westminster. Already a one-time winner this weekend in modified action down at Potomac. And he's looking to see if he can get a late model Sportsman win as well. The 19 of Danny Atherton. Very good night in warm-up times and also heat race action. He is on the outside of row number 1. Here we go. 20 laps for the late model Sportsman. Well, Brian Booz got down that bottom side, wiggling quite a bit. 3 wide almost as Cable grabs that lead. Atherton trying to fend off the efforts of Booz and Cody Kirshner, who are now side by side for third. 2 by 2 by 2 racing from third on back as they jumble up from second on back now and down to the inside. Atherton, he was there, but trouble with one driver looks to be Mason Booz, another one over there in turn number 4 as well. All right, field reset. Second try for a start in our 20-lap main event. Cable, Atherton up front. They got pretty intense right up in the front of that field, right off the bat. And let's see what happens on this restart. All right, green back out. It's going to be Cable leading. Brian Booz up in the second spot. Cody Kirshner, Megan Breeden with Kirshner right behind him, side by side with Danny Atherton. That's the battle for fourth. Maybe a 3-wide battle as they come to the outside. Off at turn number 4. Bone break. Might get 2 for the price of 1. Gets around Kirshner and now back to the outside of turn number 1 and 2. Still side by side with Atherton. Going to be Booz grabbing that lead away from Cable. He's got a few car lengths of an advantage. And Cody Breeden back there in the 4th, making 3rd position. Side by side for 4th. It's still Bone break working that outside line. And he'll power around Danny Atherton this time by as he takes that spot on the front straightaway. DJ Myers in the 70J likewise also joining that battle along with Kirshner. Further up, Breeden to the inside of Cable for the runner-up spot. And here comes Atherton fighting back with Bone break in that ongoing challenge for 4th. So Brian Booz, he has been knocking on the door in the early part of this season and very strong late last year. That B2 machine right now, comfortable lead, but early. 3 laps complete, soon to be 4. 14 of Cody Breeden in second. Cable holding on to third of the 25K as they work it off at turn number 4. Still a side-by-side battle for 4th. Bone break and Atherton. Myers right behind him in the 2+2 of Kirshner trying to close the gap likewise. 24K of Jeff King back in 7th. 94 of Brandon Bard in 8th. Bobby Beard in 9th. And here comes Kyle Lair to the outside. It's going to be Bobby Beard down to the bottom side.
Caution, caution.
2 cars getting together off turn number 2 as we quickly saw that one. All right, field stacked up on the back straightaway. Big lead by Brian Booz, knocked out. Cody Breeden will flank him on the outside as we get set to get back to green as we close in on the 1/4 mark of tonight's late model Sportsman main event. And back we go into 1 and 2. Booz will grab that lead. Some good 2 and 3 wide racing. 2 by 2 from second on back right now. Going to be Cable reassuming the number 2 position away from Cody Breeden. Bone break got around Atherton, and now he continues to work that high line. Myers and Atherton side by side. Here comes Bone break on the outside again. He got Breeden, and now he's trying to get Ray Cable. As that car continues to work very well on the higher line. He'll take second off turn number 2. Cable with a good run down bottom, but it's not going to be good enough. He'll stay a car length back in 3rd. Here comes Myers. He saw what the Bone break machine had been doing. He's working a little bit up at that high line likewise and trying to get himself around the 14 of Breeden, and will move himself up into the number 4 position. Atherton in the 19. He's dropped back a little bit in the 6th spot. It'll be Cody Kirshner back in 7th, Jeff King in 8th, Brandon Bard 9th, and Kyle Lear right now the top 10 as everybody goes single file. We come back for lap number 7, and Brian Booz with about a 3-car length advantage over Wesley Bonebrake. They have begun to gap these 3rd and 4th place machines. That's Ray Cable, then TJ Myers, followed by Cody Breeden. He's going to feel a little pressure from Danny Atherton, knocking on the door, trying to get back into the top 5 here at lap number 8. And watching the lines that Bonebrake taking as he's got one driver left to see if he can negotiate. That's the Brian Booz machine. Booz out to the low to middle groove as he works it off at turn number 4 and back to the stripe. Still about 3 car lengths advantage over Bonebrake. Meanwhile, DJ Myers begins to go to work on Ray Cable. He works to the outside. Back in turn number 1 and 2. He'll slide up the banking just a little bit. Cable will keep him honest. They'll stay side by side down the back straightaway in that battle for 3rd. Cody Breeden back behind him by about 5 car lengths. It's still going to be Myers trying to work that high groove. Bobbles a little bit, but still good enough to grab that 3rd position here on lap number 10. Halfway in tonight's late model Sportsman main event. Booz a winner in crate late model action a season ago here at the Hagerstown Speedway, riding the late model Sportsmans and back to the stripe. And that interval between he and Bonebrake stays to about 2 to 3 car lengths of a separation. 70 of DJ Myers remains back there in 3rd spot. Cody Breeden holding on to 4th. He and Cable have a pretty good battle going on for that spot right now as 12 go on the board, 8 to go. Watching our top 2 drivers make their way back into turn number 1 and 2. If it stays green, they'll hit the back end of the field. 000 Matt Naylor, the 81 of Daniel Garrett. Couple of cars that are close to being going a lap down as our field comes back for lap number 13. And still watching Bonebrake. Lines are changing. Things are changing. It's down to a car length separation between our top 2 drivers back into 1. Bonebrake's car working very well no matter what groove it's been tonight. And right now Brian Booz trying to hold on to that car length and a half advantage as they work it back into 3 and 4. Lap 14 about to go on the board as they continue to close in on the back end of the field. And here goes Bonebrake. He's got it close enough where he almost wants to swing wide but can't quite seal the deal for the moment. But he now begins to make that top shelf move once again. This time a little bit different. And wasn't right there as it's going to be Booz holding on to that number 1 position by a car length. Bonebrake likely would love to see if he can grab this lead before they hit the back end of the field. And he is right on that spoiler of the Booz machine. 5 laps to go here in tonight's late model Sportsman main event. Garrett and Naylor side by side. Booz slips up. Bonebrake grabs a lead off turn number 2. Myers all the while has been closing the gap as these two have been battling. Here comes Booz back to the inside. The lap machine of Daniel Garrett right in front. It's going to be Bonebrake holding the lead as he clears around Garrett with 4 laps to go. Not over yet. This lap traffic is really going to be a challenge as Bonebrake now works to the inside of Naylor. He's got Eric Cronies there, and Brian Booz is not going to let him out of his sights. Dives very hard into turn number 3 and 4. Bonebrake splits the difference up in between Cronies and Naylor, and now has 2 lap machines between himself and the 2nd place machine. 2 more lap machines to deal with. That's going to be the 51 of Benton and also Booz, Mason Booz. As Bonebrake closes in, has to be a little easier. He had to feather that throttle as he worked it bound through 3 and 4. Gets around the Benton machine. Now the Booz driver is going to be coming up next. We had 2 laps to go here in tonight's late model Sportsman main event. Still the 70J, DJ Myers holding on to the number 3 spot. Back behind him, the 14 of Cody Breeden. And then going to be the 19 of Danny Atherton as the top 5. And all the while, Wesley Bonebrake has done a great job working this lap traffic. White flag in the air this time by. Final lap for the Hagerstown driver. It may be two Hagerstown drivers scoring feature event victories here. Dylan Schatzer did it earlier in the IMCA RaceSaver Sprint Car main event. And off at turn number 4, he used the high groove to his advantage at the end, working lap traffic beautifully. Wes Bonebreak coming away with the late model Sportsman main event victory. Brian Booz will wind up second. DJ Myers, Cody Breeden, and Danny Atherton. They will be your top 5. And one for insurance for the 37 of Wesley Bonebreak as he goes across the stripe, and a lot of the field follows through. And tonight, Wesley Bonebreak, a name synonymous with championships, takes the victory. Give it up, Wesley Bonebreak, your late model winner tonight here in Hagerstown. We're hearing a lot of things. Fun. As we try to get this microphone to work for us one more time. But masterful performance for Wesley Bonebreak. From a lot of folks. Wesley, I'm trying to stand in the proper position so I can make my microphone work. I want to tell you one thing. That was one impressive run. I was very impressed. That car looked so great working the outside. It looked like you were having a lot of fun, but in the end, it came down to masterful moves in lap traffic as well.
Yeah, it's getting better. That makes it a lot easier in lap traffic. Boot a little softer right rear. Todd went with the heart, and it certainly paid off.
What does victory mean? I mean, you guys have been fighting so hard. I know last year it was a hell of a points battle between several different drivers. You didn't get that, but tonight I felt a break that I hadn't seen in my 3 years here. That was one hell of a performance.
Yeah, this winter we made a gutsy call and we switched over to Longhorn. Mark, Wright, and Fran came to my parents and said, "You want to go 50-50 on this deal?" And my dad said, "Sure." He goes, "You know how everything costs anymore. You can't not take a deal like that." And Mark and Fran, they don't put a lot of pressure on me. They let me race where I want to race. So this is for them, for Todd, for Daryl, for Jordan, everybody, Kurt Hoffman, Daryl. I mean, it's been such a struggle the last couple of years, but I think we can get a couple this year as good as this thing is.
No doubt about it. Wesley, congratulations. Excellent effort. That Bonebreak tradition continues.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an 8, my dad was a 10, but...
All right, we got the best out of Wesley Bonebreak, and he gave us his best tonight. His first late models